Everybody talks about the federal deficit, but nobody does anything about it. Just what is this deficit and what does it do? Hello, I'm Chris Chantrell, and this is USGovernmentSpending.com. According to the Senate Budget Committee, the deficit is the amount by which the government's total outlays exceeds its total receipts for a fiscal year. Okay, so the official federal deficit for fiscal year 2017 was $665 billion. But the federal debt went up by $670 billion. Why the difference? The answer is that the federal government does a fair amount of spending and borrowing outside the official budget, and it all ends up in the national debt. Here is a chart that shows the deficit over the last decade. You can see that the big story is the trillion-dollar deficits between 2009 and 2012. What was all that about? The answer is simple. Back then, the feds were spending money like water to bail out the credit system in the real estate / stock market / banking crash of 2008. Then they were spending money to stimulate the economy. In recent years, as you can see, the deficits have got down to about $500 billion per year. Yay! But don't get your hopes up. You can see the deficits are heading back up to $1 trillion a year for the foreseeable future. Okay, so that's all in the future. What about the past? The chart of federal deficits in the 20th century show that the deficit usually stays below about 5% of gross domestic product, except for three big events. First, there was World War I. That's when the deficit went over 15% of GDP. Then there was World War II, when the deficit nearly hit 30% of GDP. I think the appropriate comment on that is awesome. Finally, there was the crash of 2008, when the deficit hit 10% of GDP. But I know what you want to know. You want to know how much deficit is too much. And my answer to you is, I hope we never find out. Here are the pages we looked at in this video. You can get them from usgovernmentspending.com/VID02. I'm Chris Chantrell, and that is all.